Okay, everybody, can we start the video? Okay, we're going to start now. Ready? Okay, so let's turn on the video and get your paper ready. Okay, all right. And okay, make sure you can hear my voice. Anyone can't hear my voice clearly? You raise your hand if you can't hear my voice clearly. All right, everybody can hear my voice? Okay, come. So let's start your video before we start the lesson. Okay, so Janelle raise a video. Janelle, Suran, Jordan, Ashley, Jared, Li Wen, Zining. Okay, Li Wen, there is how come you, Li Wen, you are still outside? I mean, you haven't come in yet? Okay, Li Wen, come in already. And okay, I think, all right, everybody can hear my voice clearly. All right, Jared, Jordan. Okay, all right, got to start your video. All right, anyone who didn't start your video, you will be removed from the room. Okay, let me just have a quick look. Okay, Li Wen, video on. Jordan, video on. Yes. Ashley. Okay, Ashley, I can't see you. You're camouflaged by your background. Yeah, I can't see your face. You need to put your face in the camera. Or you can actually take away the virtual background, have a blurry background. Okay, come, let's start. Okay, now, the lesson today is going to be about 1 hour lesson. So might take a bit longer because some of the questions are a little harder than last week. Last week was quite an easy paper, all right? But the paper today is a little harder, but still not very hard, all right? So usually your paper one is usually quite all right, okay? Not very hard, not very, it's also not very easy. Okay, but let's look at question one and let's run through the steps, right? The questions. Okay, in the scale below, what is the value of x indicated by the arrow? So every time you see a number line, what do you do? You have a gap, all right? You find how many gaps are there. For example, 4.9 until 5.06, how many gaps are there? So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there are 8 gaps or 8 units. Then you find the difference. You take 5.06 and you minus 4.9. Okay, so 5.06 and you minus 4.9, do your working, right? And you will get, I'm going to skip the working, right? Because I think you can do the subtracting yourself. So 5.06 and then you minus 4.90, you will get 0.16, okay, which is 8 gaps. And what is 8 gaps? That will be 1 unit. Okay, Li Wen, how come you have 2 names? You have 2 accounts, right? Miss C Li Wen, and then there's another Li Wen also. Yeah. How come there are 2 accounts? You are muted. Okay, you're muted. You may want to unmute yourself. Can you hear me, Li Wen?
Mr. My other one is not responding. Can you ask her, like, just kick her out?
Kick her out.
I mean, like the other one.
The other one. Okay, I think we just leave that account inside here. It's okay. Okay, come, let's continue. So 0.16 divided by 8. So you take 0.16 and you divide by 8, do your dividing. All right, I think the dividing, I will have to show you how to divide in case you have forgotten. So you divide by 8, what do? 0 times 8, you get 0. Do your normal dividing, raise up the decimal point, put the 1 down, 0 times 8, 0 again, and then you minus, put the next digit down, and 2 times 8 will be 16, right? So your 1 gap is 0.02. Okay, what is x? So you start counting. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So there'll be 4 gaps, 4 units. All right. So 0.02 times 4, right? And you will get 0.08. Okay, I'm doing a bit thoroughly, but when you do your test, when you do your paper one, you can do faster, right? You can skip all these steps. Then you take 4.9. Okay, 4.9 plus 0.08. Okay, then do your then you just add together, and what do you get? So 4.9 plus 0.08, that will be 4.98. So what is x? X is 4.98, number 3. Okay, so if you know how to do it, you can do a bit faster. All right, I'm showing you all the steps thoroughly. All right, but if you are good, then you do a bit faster lah. You can skip all this. Okay, let's go to number 2. Now, what is the value of 2 over 3 divided by 5 over 12? So how to divide fractions? So by now, you should be quite good also. You keep the first fraction, change the divide to times, and flip the fraction upside down. So keep, change, flip. And then you cancel, divide by 3, you get 1. Divide by 3, you get 4. Cannot cancel already, then you multiply. 2 times 4 is 8. and then 1 times 5 is 5. And then do your dividing, 8 over 5. What is 8 over 5? 8 divided by 5, right? So 1 times 5, and there's a remainder 3. So 1, 3, 5. That is your mixed number. Okay, so your answer is 1 and 3 over 5. So answer number 1. Okay, all right, let's go to number 3. All right, number 3. So you may want to add up your marks, all right? Add your marks, then later at the end of the whole lesson, you count your marks. Okay, Larry has some stamps. He gave 40% of his stamps to Ravi and 20% of the remaining stamps to Lina. So what percentage of Larry's stamp were given to Lina? All right, now if you're confused with percentage, you don't know how to do, then always remember, change the percentage to fraction, right? So 40%, change it to fraction, 2/5, right? 2/5, right? And 20% will be 20 over 100, 1/5. And then draw your model. All right, use your model to get the answer. So the 2/5 is talking about his stamps, right? 2/5 is talking about his stamps. You cut the rectangle into 5 boxes, and 2 boxes is given to Ravi. And where's the remainder? The remainder is the 3 boxes on the right side. And you look at the next fraction. 1/5 is talking about the remainder stamps. So you will have to cut the remainder stamps into 5 boxes. But if you look at the green color boxes, it's only 3. So how to cut into 5 boxes? Then you drop down, right? Drop down the remainder and you cut 5 boxes. And you label 1 box given to Lina. And what percentage of Larry's stamps were given to Lina? So you can't put a question mark, then you don't put. And you have to label this part of the model. You can call it the leftover. Okay, so that's how you draw the model, right? You must know how to draw the model. And then what do you do next? And then you make the model equal, cut them equally. So this will be 5, right? Every big box is 5 units. And then below will be smaller 3 units. Right, you can see that the remainder is 15 units on top and 15 units below. And every big box over here is also 5 units. Now, Jared, go to start your video. Suren, start your video. Otherwise, you will be removed. Wenrei, video on. Okay, last warning already. Anyone who turn off the video, you'll be out of the room already. Okay, so once you have cut the model equally, yeah. All right, any question, Jared?
I'm using the soft copy. Now I have to look at the other app.
Oh, okay. Then Jared is fine. Okay, then you are all right. You're excusable. Okay, once you have cut the model equally into units already, then use that to find your percentage. So how to get a percentage? Write as what fraction. Instead of what percentage, you change the percentage to fraction. What fraction of Larry's stamps, which is how many units over here? All right, they are all together 25 units. So you write as a fraction, which is 25. What fraction of Larry's stamps were given to Lina? So Lina is how many units? 3, right? 3 units. So once you get your fraction already, then what do? You make the denominator into 100, right? So you times 4 to get 100, and 3 times 4 is 12. And when your denominator is 100, then how many percent? 12%. So 12% were given to Lina. Okay, so this can be quite hard, right? It can be quite hard because it's percentage and there's a remainder. Then what do? You change the percentage to fraction, and then you draw the model. All right, draw the model and use the model to get your fraction. And then after that, change the fraction to percentage. You understand? Okay, this is how you, how you tackle this percentage with remainder. Okay, question number 4. In the figure, ABCD is a square and AE is equal to ED. So these two sides are the same. So what type of triangle is this? Now, if the triangle is in a square, then it has to be what? An isosceles triangle. Because why? Why is it isosceles triangle? Because isosceles triangle is symmetric, right? Symmetric. You can cut isosceles triangle into 2 equal parts. So it's actually symmetric. So you can see that this side, all right, this side and this side will be identical, will be equal, right? And this side will also be equal. Why? Because the isosceles triangle is symmetric. Symmetric means what? It means that this triangle, blue triangle, and the other blue triangle below will be exactly the same. Okay, you understand? So isosceles triangle can actually cut into two halves, right? 2 halves, which is symmetric. Okay, then you don't have to look at all the other answers already. All the others are wrong. Okay, let's go to number 5. Okay, number 5. So PQRS is a trapezium. What do you know about trapezium? 2 lines are parallel. There are only 2 lines parallel. And which of the following is true? So PQ is equal to PS. PQ is here and your PS is here. So are they parallel? It's not, right? These two lines are not parallel. So cross it. SPQ, where is your SPQ, which is here, is equal to QRS, which is here. That's not true because it's not a parallelogram, it's not a rhombus, it's a trapezium. So opposite angles are not equal because it's in the trapezium. So number 2 is cross. And PSR and SRQ, where's PSR? PSR is over here and SRQ is over here. So if you add these two angles together, does it equal to 180 degrees? No, it doesn't. Why it doesn't? Because the two lines that you see over here, these two black lines, they are not parallel. Okay, so because they are not parallel, the angles between them cannot add together 180. All right, understand? So number 3 also wrong. Okay, then look at number 4. QPS, where's your QPS? Over here, right, the black angle, and PSR, which is over here. So these two angles, they add together equal 180. So is it true or not? Well, you look carefully, all right? Can you see this line and this line? So they are what? They are parallel, right? So the angles between the two red lines that are parallel, they must add together equal 180. So the answer is true. Okay, the answer is correct. So look for two lines that are parallel and the angles between the two lines that are parallel will add together equal 180 degrees. Okay, let's go to number 6. All right, any questions so far? Is the lesson clear to understand so far? Okay, all right, let's go on to question number 6. Okay, find the area of triangle XYZ. You will need to highlight the triangle that you're looking at. Otherwise, you get confused. So once you highlighted already, then what's the base? The base is one of the 3 sides of the triangle. So if you decide to choose this as the base, okay, where? If this is the base, for example, all right, you say this is the base, right? Then you will need to take your ruler, okay, take your ruler and put the ruler on the base so that you can find a height. If you cannot find a height, then you need to change your base. So I put the ruler on the base and I move up and down and I can see a line that is parallel with the ruler. And that is the height of the triangle. So what's the area of this black triangle? Half times base times height. Okay, so if the triangle is not a right angle triangle, which is the black color that you see, okay, the black color triangle, then you will need to take your ruler, put on the base and check to see whether you can find a height. If you can find the height, then your base and height is correct. So half times 8 times 5, 2 divided by 2 is 1, 8 divided by 2 is 4, and 4 times 5 is 20. So the area of the triangle is 20 cm square. Okay, all right. Okay, let's go to the next one, question number 6. Okay, question number 6 is below, right? So I think number 6 is done. Question number 7. Okay, the figure is a circle of radius 10 cm. So what's the circumference of the circle? Now there are 2 formulas for circles. It's either pi r square or pi d. So which is the correct formula to use? Very easy. All right, if you see a square there, can you see a square there? That is area already because area got meter square, centimeter square. So this is the wrong formula to use. So you should be looking at pi d. So pi d is the circumference of the circle. And express your answer in terms of pi. So just write pi, right? Write pi inside your steps. And what's the diameter? You look at the diagram, this is the radius. To get the diameter, you just take radius times 2 or 10 times 2. Okay, and pi times 20 will be 20 pi. So the circumference of the circle is 20 pi centimeter. Okay, so how to get diameter? You just take the radius times 2. Very simple. Okay, number 8. So what is the height of a school bus? Okay, now 0.3 meter is a very hard. It's very hard to estimate. Change it to centimeter and it's easier to estimate, right? For example, what is 0.3 meter in centimeter? Right, 0.3. You change it to centimeter. You just have to times 100, and what do you get? You shift the decimal point to the right 2 times, and put the 0 in the basket, and arrowhead decimal point, and how many centimeter? 30 centimeter, right? 30 cm, which is the length of a ruler. So your bus cannot be the length of a ruler. So number 1 is wrong. Now, how about 30 meter? Now, 30 meter is what? 30 meter is the length of a running track. Okay, running track, if you go to the stadium, if you run straight, it's about 50 meters already. So 30 meters is also quite long. So the height of the bars cannot be so long, right? 30 meter is more for distance, okay, running a distance. 300 meter is even worse. All right, it's even much further, much longer. So the height of the bars must be 3 meter. All right, 3 meter. Okay, so that is the correct height. So the answer is number 2. Okay, let's go to number 9. All right, question number 9. The graph shows the egg tarts sold by a shop from September to December. What was the total egg tart sold from September to December? Now you will need to count the gaps. You must always count the gaps to find how much is one gap. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there are 5 units, which is 500 minus 0, that is still 500. So your one gap is 100. Then start counting. September will be how many? 800. And then October will be 1,200. Okay. And then your November will be 500. And December will be 1,400. Okay, what is the better way to find the numbers accurately? A better way to find the numbers accurately is to use your ruler, because your eye may play tricks. Your eye may see wrongly, right? So it's better to take a ruler and put the ruler on the bar, and then look at the ruler to see what number is it touching. All right, then you will not make any mistakes. Okay, so what was the total egg tarts? So you take you just add all the numbers, right? So you take 800 plus 1,200 plus 500 plus 1,400. So do your working carefully, right? So I'm gonna use my calculator so I can do a bit faster. So 800 plus 1,200 is 2,000, then plus 500 plus 1,400, and you will get 3,900, which is the total egg tarts. So answer will be number 1. Okay. All right, let me just have a quick check to make sure that the answers is correct. Yes. Okay, let's go to question 10. What was the difference between the greatest number and the least number? All right, so how do you find the greatest number? Look for the tallest bar and the shortest bar. So the tallest bar is 1,400 and the shortest bar is 500, and you minus. Okay, minus to get the difference. So you take 1,400 minus 500, answer 900. So the difference is 900. Okay, let's go to the next one. Question 11. Okay, question 11. The boys is 5/8, the number of girls, arrow pointing. Okay, and this is a ratio problem. All right, the answers is in ratio. So how do you convert the fraction to ratio? You label, ratio method, label the ratio. Boys is to girls, 5:8, and must have a total. All right, your ratio must have a total, otherwise it's not complete. Why must have a total? Because the question says find the ratio of the girls to the total, right? Total. So the total is 13. So what is the ratio of girls to the total? So 8 is to 13. So answer number 4. Okay, all right. Okay, question number 12. The shaded figure is a quadrant, or a quarter circle of radius 14 cm. What's the area of the shaded figure? So when you want to find area, so what's the formula? The formula is pi r square. Okay, and what you do is a quadrant. You must put the fraction in front, and 1/4 times pi r square. Always put the fraction in front. And then what do? Then you put the numbers into the formula. What's your pi? Your pi is 22/7. What's the radius? Quadrant has radius. All right, quadrant doesn't have diameter. When you see a quadrant, what do you get? You will always get a radius when you see a quadrant. Okay, so you times, hang on for a while, there are some people joining. Okay, so you take 1/4 times pi times radius, which is 14 times 14. Okay, all right, now some of you still can't cancel. When I mark those of you in my groups, some of you can't cancel. You really have to know how to cancel. Otherwise, you find that you can't get the answer correctly. So you change the whole number into fraction, right, into a fraction. And then what do? You can only cancel 2 numbers at one time. Like for example, these 2 numbers, right? Can I cancel them? Yeah, divide by 7, you get 1. 14 divided by 7 is 2. And then can I cancel another 2 numbers? How about these 2 numbers? 4 divided by 2 is 2. 22 divided by 2 is 11. Can I cancel another two numbers? Can. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 14 divided by 2 is 7. You must know how to cancel. All right, otherwise you'll be doing a lot of working. So you multiply all the numbers that you cannot cancel already. So 11 times 2 times 7. So what is that? That will be 154. And then 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 is still 1. So you divide, right? 154 divided by 1 is 154. So what's the area of the quadrant? Number 3. Okay. So you got to learn how to cancel already by now. All right. If you still not sure, you need to look at this lesson video. All right, to just revise again. Okay, question 13. Okay, there is a kilogram. There is a gram in the answer. So what do? You change it to grams, right? Change the kilogram to grams. You also get rid of the decimal point. So can you change the 32.7 kilogram into grams? So how do you do that? You have to multiply. Why do you multiply? Big to small. Big to small unit. You have to multiply by 1,000 because 1 kilogram is 1,000 grams. So you shift 1, okay, shift to the right, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and what do you put in the baskets? 0 in the empty basket, and the arrowhead, decimal point, and the 0 behind. So how many grams? 32,700 grams. Okay, right? And then how about the 7.2 kilogram? You do the same thing. 7.2 times 1,000. So you shift the decimal point, 1, 2, and 3. So put the zeros in the empty baskets and the arrowhead, decimal point, and 0 behind. So how many is that? That will be 7,200 grams. All right, so what did she do? She had 32,700 grams and she used 7,200 grams. So what's the leftover? Then you just minus lah. So everything becomes easier when they are whole numbers. So 32,700 minus 7,200, and you get 25,500 grams, which is the leftover. And what did she do with this remaining flour? She packed them equally into 50 packets. So you have to take 25,550 grams and go and divide by what? Divide by 50 packets, right? Okay, then how to divide? You cancel 1 0, divide by 10, and here also divide by 10. Okay, and then everything also become quite easy because they are whole numbers. So you take 2,555 divide by 5. Do your dividing, and I think you will get what do you get? 2,555 divide by 5. You will get 2,555 divided by 5 is 500. Let me see. Did I make a mistake? Oh, yeah, Mr. Make a mistake. Yeah. Okay, there's a mistake here. 25500. Yes. Transfer error. 25500 grams divided by 50. So you cancel 1 0. Here also cancel 1 0. And then you take 2,550 divided by 5. Okay, I think you will get the answer already. So 2,550 divided by 5, that will be 510 grams. So how much flour in one packet? 510 grams. So what's the lesson here? Now the lesson here is actually quite simple, because if you see different units, if you see kg, right? You see kg here, and then you see a grams. Right, then what do? Change it all to the same unit. Change it all into grams. And then it becomes so much easier. Because why? Because the decimal now become whole numbers already. You got it? Right? It's very hard to work with decimal. So what do? Convert to whole numbers and then become much easier. Okay, question 14, that's algebra. So you should have done this. No more skipping the question already. So you circle the groups. Okay, let me use a thinner ink. Okay, circle, right? Circle, so that you have all these groups, and then put the groups with the same kind together. 9H, put side by side with another group with the same kind, right? And then there's another H there, right? Plus H, right? So put them all beside each other. And then the whole numbers, you put them beside each other also, like this. So that's the reason why you circle the group, so that you can move them around and put them together. Okay, then what do? Then you take 9 minus 4, that will be 5H, 5H plus 1H, will be 6h. And then plus 12 minus 6 will be 6. So your answer is 6h plus 6. Okay, clear? Okay, last question. Now the last question is the, okay, like I think some of you can't do this question, but I hope you have tried to draw your model, because fractions means what? Means your model lah. Fractions means model drawing. Okay, I'm going to show you how to draw this problem because it's going to be quite hard if you don't have a model. So Mr. Chan had some apples at first. 3/5 is talking about the apples. So 3/5 of the apples were red and the rest were green. He sold 1/5 of the total number of apples. All right. So these two fractions, what are they talking about? They are talking about the same thing. So every time you see fractions, you need to ask what are they talking about. Like the 3/5 is talking about the apples. The 1/5 is also talking about the same apples. So if they are talking about the same thing, then what do? You make the denominator the same, but they are already the same. So you're very lucky, no need to do anything. Then the other fraction, 2/3 of the apples sold. So how about this third fraction? Is it talking about the same thing? No, it's talking about the apples that were sold. Right, it's not talking about all the apples. So the third fraction is not talking about the same thing. So don't make the denominator the same. So which fractions are talking about the same thing? This one and this one. Okay, got it? All right, and the 2/3 is not talking about the same group. So you cannot make the denominator the same. 90 green apples were left unsold. So how many green apples did Mr. Chan have at first? All right, very confusing, but when you draw the model, you find that it becomes actually quite easy to work out the answer. So draw the first sentence, 3/5 of the apples. So draw a rectangle, which is all the apples. Okay, and then label 3. Okay, Mr. is not thinking also. I'm not thinking also. I'm just drawing. And the rest were green. Okay, so you draw until here already. Now he sold 1/5 of the total apples. If you don't know where to draw 1/5 or how to draw 1/5, never mind. You can do what? You can drop down the whole rectangle, which is all the apples. All right, and then cut into 5 boxes. Why? Because the total number of apples is 5, like what you see on top. And he sold 1 box. All right, and these apples, they are sold. All right, could be the red, could be the green. We are not sure. All right, so he sold 1/5 of the total number of apples, and you will need to label the rest of these boxes, which is unsold. So when you draw a model, everything must be labeled clearly. Okay, so where am I now? I draw almost half the problem. And why do I draw a rectangle below? Because I don't know how to add to my original model. I don't know how to draw onto the original model. So what do? I draw a separate model below, right? Which is still 5 boxes. Okay, 2/3 of the apples sold. So this fraction is talking about what? The apples sold. Go to your model, and which part of the model is sold? Here. Okay, cut it into 3 boxes. Why? Because the denominator is 3. Can you see that? Right, you have to cut the apples sold into 3 boxes, and 2 boxes red. Right? And then how about the last box? Over here must be green. Okay, so this tiny box here will be green. Clear? And then if you cut 1 box into 3 smaller ones, then you must do the same for every big box. Do the same, right? And then on top also lah. On top, you can also do the same. Okay, so every tiny box is a unit. Okay, so where are you now? You're until here. All right, am I thinking? No, I'm not even thinking. All right, I'm not thinking. 90 green apples were left unsold. Okay, 90 green apples were left unsold. Okay, now this part may have to think a little bit already lah. Okay, 90 green apples were left unsold. You look carefully. How many units of green apples? There are 6 units of green apples. You sold 1 unit of green apples. So how many units of green apples unsold? There must be 5 units unsold, right? 5 units of green apples unsold. Okay, or shall I draw on the other side so that it's easier for you to see? All right, let me draw the other side. Okay, over here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So these are the 5 units of green apples that were left unsold. And if you add all the apples together, add all the green color apples, it's 6 units, right? 6 units over here, right? You can see all over here, 6 units of green apples altogether. Okay, all right. Okay, then how about the rest of this? How about the rest of these boxes? There must be the red apples unsold. And how many red apples unsold? Well, then you count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, so just draw carefully, draw slowly, and then label, label, label. And 90 green apples were left unsold, which is how many units of green apples left unsold? 5 units. How do you know that? Because you look at what? Look at this one. Look at this. These are the green apples left unsold. Can you see that? There are 5 units of green apples left unsold, which is 90. So 1 unit must be 90 divided by 5. So 1 unit is 18. So how many green apples did Mr. Chan have at first, which is total 6 units. So 6 units will be 18 times 6. That will be how many? 18 times 6 is 18 times 6 will be, let me just use my calculator so I can do it a bit faster. 18 times 6, 108. So there are 108 green apples at first. Okay. Yeah, so even if you can't get the answer, at least you get some meta marks if it's an open-ended question, right? You draw the model and then work out some steps out of the model, and you will still get some marks even if you don't get the answer. Otherwise, you find that it's quite hard to solve if you don't have a method to try to break down this problem. You need a method to break down this problem. And what's the method? Model, right? Model helps to break down the problem. Clear? Okay. All right, let's go to question 16. All right, question 16, the easy ones. Okay, the one mark question. Okay, question 16. All right, how do you change into a decimal shortcut? Okay, what's the shortcut? You can break up into whole numbers, and there's a fraction here. So change the whole number into a decimal, right? 3.0. And the fraction, you can make the denominator into a 10, 100, or 1,000. So let's make it into 100 because it's easier. So 20 times 5 and 3 times 5. And you will get 15 over 100, which is 0.15. Then you take 3.0 plus 0.15 and never do mental sums. Okay, when you do decimals, don't do mental sum. Because why? Because decimals has a lot of digits and there's also a decimal point inside. So it's better to work out, right? To write down your working. So your answer will be 3.15. Okay, that's the decimal. Clear? All right, okay, let's move on to the next one. Question 17. How do you find the volume of the cuboid? This one is a giveaway question. So formula, length times breadth times height. The length is the longer side, the breadth, shorter side, and the height is how tall. So you have 20 times 5 times 9. Shortcut, 2 times 5 is 10, 10 times 9 is 90, and put a 0 behind. So what's the volume? The volume is 900 centimeter cube. Okay, all right, let's go to the next one. Question number 18. How do you draw the top view? Now, top view is usually quite popular, right? Most of the time, you are tested on how to draw the top view because it's a little bit more troublesome to draw the top view. You need to look at the front view first, and then look down. Okay, look down from the front view. So when you look down from the front view, all right, then you face the front, then you look down, you will see what? You will see 3, 1, 1, and 1. So 3, 1, 1, 1. So how do you draw that? It means like that. 3 in the same column, and 1, 1, 1. That's how I call it. 3, 1, 1, 1. Okay, it's like a easy way to help you to draw. Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, question number 19. So there's a right angle triangle. So never assume unless a question tells you. So what is angle YZX, which is over here? Okay, this one not very hard. The sum of angles in a triangle is 180. You minus 90 minus 42, and you get the question mark, which is 48 degrees. Okay, a very simple property. Okay, question 20. Okay, this is a parallelogram. Now every time you
Mr. Ong.
Yeah.
I have copy finish.
Copy finish. So have you done or not? You got this wrong? Did you get this wrong, Wenrei? You got this wrong, or you haven't done yet?
Haven't done yet.
Haven't done yet. Then you watch. Then you should do first. Then you watch the video, right? Not. Okay. Okay, let's go down already. Okay, question 20. Now, question 20. There are some things that you must do first before you try to get the angle. What are the things that you must do first? Arrowheads. All right, arrowheads. Why? Why do you want to do that? Because when there are lines that are parallel, then there's a very important property, which is what? Which is the angles between two lines that are parallel add together 180. So where's the question mark? Your question mark is over here. So this angle is between two lines. Okay, two lines that are parallel, right? And so these two angles between the parallel lines, they will plus together 180. Okay, so this angle, this property is very important because why? In paper 2, the very hard questions will need you to know this, or need you to know this property. So 180 minus 67, answer 113. Okay, 113 degrees. All right, so no more mistakes already, all right, on these simple questions. Okay, let's go to question 21. Okay, now it gets a little more steps. If there's an equilateral triangle, what do? You mark out the sides, okay, and then what do? And then you put the 60 and the 60 in the triangle. All right, your picture cannot be very clean. You must put numbers inside, and there's a parallelogram. So what do? Arrowheads. Remember the arrowheads, okay? And then keep reading and blah blah blah. And what is angle CGF? So where is CGF? Which is over here. Okay, so once you've done all that already, then what do? Look for easy angles, right? What easy angle? Angles that are easier to find. So this angle, 180 minus 60, 120. And what do you know about parallelogram? Opposite angles in the parallelogram are the same. Opposite angles are equal. Same for rhombus. Rhombus, parallelogram, opposite angles are equal. Okay, so answer will be 120 degrees. Okay, question 22. Let's go down. Diameter of a circle. Okay, this is all giveaway question, right? All these are quite easy, but you get 2 marks from this simple question. So it's a giveaway question to you. Diameter of a circle. What is diameter? Diameter means what? A line that cuts a circle into half. That's called the diameter. And the diameter is 60 cm. Can you find the area of the circle? Now, when you have circle question, you always write your formula first before you do anything. All right, always write the formula first. Why? So that the formula will tell you what to do next. Oh, what do I do next? I put the pi. I put 3.14 because the formula said there's a pi there. And I find the radius because the formula said there's a radius, right? There's a radius. So look at the circle, where's the radius? You have to cut the diameter into half, right? So the formula will tell you what to do. If you don't put the formula, you'll be thinking a little harder already. So pi times 30 times 30. Okay, no calculator, how? All right, then what do? Number bonds, okay? 3.14 times 30 times 30, 900. Okay, some of you do something quite interesting, which is, Mr. ask you why you do like that. Some of you do this, right? Some of you, Mr. don't know why you do like that because we never teach you like that. Right? The school never teach you this way. So why do you do this way? Okay, so what should you be doing? Number bonds, 3.14 times 100 times 9. Always try to get rid of the decimal point so that you don't have decimal. Then you shift the decimal point to the right. 1, 2. Okay, and 314.0. So you have 314.0 or 314, and then later you times 9. Okay, so there's no more decimals to calculate already. They are all whole numbers. So 314 times 9, your answer will be 2826 centimeter square. And that's the area of the circle. Clear? Easy? Okay, clear? No question, huh? Okay, let's go on to question 23. Okay, question 23. What's the perimeter of the shaded figure? And there's a semicircle, right? And there's a diameter. Semicircle will always, what do you see on a semicircle? You will always see a diameter. Okay, diameter. What is perimeter? Perimeter means you must find the circumference and then plus the straight line. That is called perimeter. Circumference and perimeter are not the same. Circumference means to find how long is the curve, how long is the arc. Perimeter means what? Perimeter means find how long is the arc and add all the lines that you see. Whatever lines that you see, you have to add them. So what's the circumference of the semicircle? Half times pi d. So again, put your formula inside, right? Put your formula. Some of you, right, Mr. I tell you so many times already, you stare and stare at the question, don't know how to do, put the formula down, and the formula will guide you. Pi, put down 22/7 because the formula says there's a pi there. And what's the diameter? You look at the picture, there's a line that cuts the circle into half, or there's a diameter 21, right? So nothing hard, right? Nothing hard about all this. Okay, and then cancel. So you divide by 2, and then 22 divide by 2. So you cancel two numbers at one time. Okay, so divide by 2, divide by 2. And then 7 and 21 can also divide. 7 divided by 7, 21 divided by 7. And if you cannot cancel already, you multiply, right? Multiply the numerators and then multiply the denominators. And then what's your circumference? 33. And I think some of you forget to add the straight line, right? You put down 33 answer, right? So 33 plus the straight line. And that will give you the perimeter. So the perimeter is 54 centimeter. Okay, right? So anyone didn't add the straight line? Okay, all right, let's go to question 24. Now, a straight line KL is drawn on the square grid, right? M is one of the dots, right? Read and highlight if you are confused. All right, M is one of the dots. Line KL is the base of triangle KLM. The base KL and the height of the triangle KLM are equal. Draw two lines KM and LM to complete triangle KLM. And KM is equal to LM. A bit confusing, right? But those in my group, what did I teach you? I told you to draw a rough sketch. Do you have a rough sketch? Right, if you don't know how to draw, you have a rough sketch. What is a rough sketch? You draw the same drawing that you see, right? KL. All right, rough sketch, all right? Means freehand. You can use your hand without the ruler to draw a rough sketch. And KL is there already. And your LM, where is your LM? Must be here lah. LM, right? LM. And your KL is equal to LM. So these two sides must be equal, right? And then after that, what you do? You want to draw a triangle, so you join the two lines. So you have a rough sketch. And once you draw the rough sketch already, then you go back to the real picture, go back to the graph, and you count. How do you count? One gap, 2, 3, 4. So there are 4 gaps or 4 units. Or you can also count this way: 1 dot, 2 dots, 3, and 4. 4 dots. Right, so you can count by the gaps or you can count by the dots. So there are 4 dots or 4 gaps. Do the same thing: 1, 2, 3, 4, and you join. Okay, and when you do the real drawing, then no more rough sketch already, no more freehand. Must be a ruler. Yeah, Raphael?
I think that's wrong.
KLLM, KLLM.
Because KM has to be equal to LM.
KM is equal to LM. Oh, okay. Mr. make a mistake. Mr. Rough sketch is wrong. Okay, yeah, you're right.
It should be an isosceles.
KM is equal to LM. Yeah, Mr. Rough sketch is wrong. Mr. C wrongly. KM is equal to LM. Okay, let me just readjust again. KM is equal to LM. Okay, the letters can be a bit blurry. Okay, so you have KL. Okay, let me just draw a rough sketch again. KL. So KM is equal to LM. Okay, now, so look at your rough sketch and you figure out how to draw the rough sketch. So M maybe here, and then you something like that, right? So KM is equal to LM. So these two sides are equal. All right, so once you have come up with the drawing already, right, then what do? Transfer to the actual drawing. All right, so how to do the actual drawing? What do you know about isosceles triangle? Mr. just told you it is symmetric. So you look at this line, cut it into half. All right, look for the dividing, look for the middle part. Where's the middle part? Here. All right, the middle part, right? That's the middle. And then what do? Then you just, okay, what do? You can just draw anywhere you want. Maybe, okay, KM is equal to LM, right? So the height doesn't can be different. So maybe here, and then you join, and then let me see, KL is equal to LM. All right, so these two sides, something like that. So your triangle can be smaller or can be bigger, right? Can be smaller or bigger.
So it can't because
Right?
the base KL and the corresponding part are equal. So
Oh, the K all equal. Okay, yeah, you're right. So yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, yeah. Okay, so it must be the same. So the base and the height must be the same. Okay, you're right. So thanks for telling me. So this base and the height must be equal. And so your tip must be here, your tip. And then you join. Okay, join. And that's your triangle already. KLM. Yes. Okay, got it? Right, so what is an isosceles triangle? An isosceles triangle is symmetric. It means that you can actually cut the isosceles triangle into half, right? Into half, like what you see in the diagram.
It must be label the sides.
Must you label the side? Yeah, you need to put the two markings there. The two sides that are equal. And anything else? Well, if you want to be a bit more, you can put the right angle box there also. A right angle box. Yeah, but I don't think that one is important. But you definitely must indicate the two sides. Okay, the two sides that are equal. All right, clear so far? So what is the lesson, the main lesson here? The main lesson here is if you don't know how to draw, you have a rough sketch, all right? And then once you have an idea of how to draw already, then you draw the real one. Okay, draw the real one on the graph. Got it? Okay, let's go to question 25, next one. Okay, fraction again, that's model. Rowan and Sindri had some savings. 3/5 of Rowan's savings. So this fraction is talking about Rowan's saving. So you will need to draw a rectangle cut into 5 boxes. And this fraction, are they talking about the same person? No, this fraction is talking about Cindy's savings. So not the same. So you cannot make the denominator the same. All right, and also there is something equal. Something is equal to something. So on your model, there is a dotted line. Okay, so what is special about this model? When something is equal to something, there is a dotted line that you have to draw. So 3 boxes is equal to 2 boxes of Sindri. Until the dotted line and cut it into 2 boxes. All right, so you must know how to draw this model. All right, not very hard to draw. And Sindri has altogether 3 boxes. All right, then what do? Cut them or make them all equal. So you have 2 units, 2 units, 2 units, 3 units, 3 units. Right, so now they are equal. 6 units on top, 6 units below. Every small box is 2 units, every big box is 3 units. And then we can get the ratio. So what's the ratio of Sindri savings to Rowan saving? So Sindri has 9 units and Rowan has 10. So 9 is to 10. Got it? All right, so this question is quite common. I think it's not our first time that we see this kind of question. So hopefully you know how to draw the model now already. Okay, question 26, there's a method here. A group of students shared some bookmarks among themselves. They tried taking 9 bookmarks each, but they found that the last student had only 5 bookmarks. So that means there's a shortage. There's a shortage. The last person has a shortage of how many? 4. Everyone's supposed to get 9, but the last student had only 5. So there's a shortage of 4. When Ms. Ong says shortage, then what's the method? Excess and shortage model, right? Excess and shortage model. So when one student or each student took 7 bookmarks, there were 10 bookmarks left. That's the excess. So how many students were there? So what's the method? Excess and shortage model. And how do you draw the model? Okay, this is how you draw. You have a rectangle, which is all the students. Right, we don't know how many students are there, but we know that everybody gets 9, right? And the last one has a shortage of how many? The last one has a shortage of 4. So you can see a dotted box. What is a dotted box? Dotted box means don't have, not enough, right? So the last student is somewhere at the end of the dotted box. Okay, the last student. And yeah, Caleb?
It's only 5 bookmarks.
Yeah, correct. The last one had only 5 bookmarks, but but he needs another 4, right? Because everybody must have 9. Everybody must have 9 bookmarks. So the last one had only 5. So there's a shortage of 4. And we don't know how many boxes to cut, so dotted line. Okay, dotted line. And what do you call this model? Something like a average model, division model. And when each student took 7 bookmarks, so you draw the same rectangle because the rectangle represent the bookmarks, right? The bookmarks the bookmarks at first. Okay, the rectangle, right? This rectangle represent all the bookmarks. And everyone gets 7. So cut a smaller box and cut over here, the last person also 7. And there are 10 left over, right? Can you see the leftover inside the rectangle? So this is the shorts or the shortage, and this is the left. Do we know how many students? Don't know, dotted line. Okay, so do you know how to draw this excess and shortage model? And how many students were there? So where do you put the question mark? So your question mark will be over here, can be here. How many students? This is where you can put the question mark, or you can put over here. How many students? And you will get the same answer. And your model is done. Okay, your model is done already. All right, so what do? You compare the average. So everybody has 7. To get 9, everybody must get how many more? Everyone must get 2 more, right? Each person must get 2 more, right? And where do you take from to give everybody 2 more? Very easy. Look at where the last person is. Use a dotted line to show where's the last person, right? The last person is somewhere at the end, right? End of the rectangle. Look at the rectangle below. Where is the last person? Here. All right, that's the same last person, right? Use a dotted line to show where's the same last person. In between, what number do you see? In between, you will see 10 plus 4. That'll be 14. So you're going to take 14 and give everybody 2 more. So how many person do you give away to? You take 14 and give everyone 2 more. You must have given away to 7 friends or 7 students. So how many students were there? 7. And how do you double check to see whether you're correct? You can also double check. How do you double check? Like this, right? To double check, you put 7 students here. 7 times 9, right? 7 times 9, right? That will be 63, right? But there's a shortage of 4. So 63 minus 4. So there are only how many bookmarks? There are only 59. Okay, there are only 59 bookmarks. Okay, then go to the rectangle below. There are 7 students again, and everyone gets 7 each. 7 times 7, 49. And there is a leftover of 10. 10 cards left. So also 59. So can you see the same number of bookmarks? Okay, are you clear? This is how you draw the excess and shortage model. There is also another method, but we wouldn't go through that. What's the other method? The other method is something like this: systematic listing, right? Systematic listing, and what happened? You have to write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's going to be quite long, all right? Quite tedious, all right? But there's also a method. But the faster way is what? The model. Okay, the model will help you to get the answer faster. Okay, let's go to the next one. Question 27. Okay, question 27. Okay, Mr. Stay wants to buy 26 blueberry muffins. So what's the least amount of money she has to pay? So something to do with grouping, right? Something like that. So you have 26 blueberry. Okay, what you can do is you break up. Break up into what? You go and buy those boxes with many muffins. The more muffins you buy in a box is cheaper. Like for example, the 6 blueberry muffins, $6 is actually very cheap, right? Cheaper. So you break up into 6 blueberry muffins, another 6 blueberry, another 6 blueberry. That'll be 18 already, right? 6 times 3, 18. And then you can break up some more, another 6 more. So that'll be 24 blueberries. So how much is all this? How much is all this? So you take $6, which is one group of 6 blueberry, and you multiply by 4. That'll be $24. Okay, how many more blueberry muffins you still have to buy? You still have to buy another 2 blueberry muffins. So where are you going to buy? Which one are you going to buy? You cannot be buying 3. You don't want to buy this, right? Because it's more than what you want. So you're going to buy 1 blueberry, which is $1.20. So you take $1.20 times 2. Okay, $1.20 times 2, that will be $2.40. Okay, clear? And then you add them together. So $24 plus $2.40. And the least money that she has to pay is $26.40. Understand? So what is the lesson here? The lesson here is to buy what? To buy those, buy bigger number. Buy bigger number of muffins. The more you buy, the cheaper you pay, the cheaper you spend. If you only buy one only, then you spend more money, right? This is what happened outside. You need to buy more, then you can save more money, right? So you buy more, you pay less, you pay lesser. Got it? Okay, question 28, fractions model. Again, you can draw model if you are confused. So Mr. Stan gave 7/10, which is talking about a cake, talking about this cake. And can you draw the model for this cake, for this fraction? Draw a rectangle, cut it into 10 boxes. All right, those of you who don't know how to do, then you draw a model. And she gave 7 boxes to a friend. And where's the remainder? The remainder is here. Okay, this is the remainder. Okay, every part of your model must label. Okay, got to label every part of your model. What did she do with the remainder? She cut it into 6 slices. 6. Okay, so just cut it into 6 slices like this. And then every big box, you do the same. Okay, and then every small box, what do you call it? 1 unit. Okay, 1 unit. So what fraction of the whole cake was each slice? Then you just add up all the units, which is how many? 20, right? 20 units. That is the whole cake. So what fraction of the whole cake, which is 20 units, was each slice? So each slice must be 1 tiny box. Am I correct? And then that'll be 1 out of 20. So that's a fraction, 1/20. So when you draw the model, you find that there's no steps, right? You don't really have any steps, but the model helps you to come up with the answer without the steps. All right, clear? Okay, let's go to the next one, question 29. Okay, question 29, ratio. The ratio of the balls in box A to the balls in box B was 5:3 at first. So when you see the, Wenrei is still copying. Are you still copying?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, Miss Lang, okay, let's come back a bit. Okay, we still have a little bit of time to do some copying. All right, anyone has any question later, you can stay back after the lesson and then just ask me. All right, so far, is the lesson clear? All right, good that some of you spot the mistakes.
Okay.
And make sure that sometimes Ms. Tong may make some mistakes, but I want you to be attentive, right? And if you see something, a careless mistake somewhere, you got to raise your hand, okay? Because Ms. Tong is not a genius, I'm not a genius. All right, everybody all make mistakes. So if you see something wrong, you really got to raise your hand. Okay, question 29. When you see the word at first, that's a clue to tell you it's a before and after problem. So you have 2 methods when it's a before and after problem. You either draw a model or there's a table method. So I'm going to show you the table method because we don't want to always, do we draw model all the time? Can, if you don't know how to draw the model, then you have a table method. Okay, so how do you draw this table? You have rows and columns. And what do you call this? What do you call the rows? Before, change, after. And you need to have at least 2 boxes or 2 things to compare. If there's only one group or one thing or one person, you cannot use the table method. So you must have at least two. Okay, two groups to compare. And then there's always a total. There must be a total. All right, how does this table work? Like, it's very simple. You just look at the sentence and then you just put the numbers inside. All right, for example, the ratio of the balls in ball A to ball B, box B is 5:3. So what do I do? Like this, 5:3, and the total is 8. So I actually do what? I actually put the ratio inside the boxes. Some of you use ratio method, but I do better than you. Why? I put the ratio into the boxes. It's still ratio, but it's more organized. Right? You can see what they are referring to. Okay, then what do? 36 balls from ball A were transferred. So you minus 36, right? And then go to where? Go to ball B, plus 36. Okay, and the ratio of the balls in ball A to ball B became 1:3. So 1:3, another ratio, and that becomes 4 already. Do I call units? No, I call parts. So it's parts and units ratio. Okay, that's what you have also, right? When you do your steps, something similar also, right? You have 2 ratio, same. Okay, then how many balls were there in ball A at first? Question mark. And finish, done already. Yeah, my table is done. So every time there's a before and after problem, then what is something that you must ask? What is unchanged? Right, so what is unchanged in this problem? There is an internal transfer. So the total is unchanged. What do you mean by total is unchanged? It means that the total for part is the same as 8 unit. Total at first, total in the end, equal. Unchanged means equal. So one part is 2 unit. So can I change all the parts into units? So one part is 2 unit, 6 unit, 8 units. And then can I look at the table and compare? Compare what? Compare what? Compare how many unit is 36, right? You can see that 5 unit then became 2 units. So you must have minus 3 unit, right? So you have minus 3 unit, that is 36 also. So they are in the same box. So what do you mean in the same box? It means that they are equal also. So when you see something in the same box, they are equal, right? The table is very easy to understand. You see something in the same box, they are equal to each other. So 3 unit is equal to 36. Then your 1 unit is 36 divided by 3. And then how many balls in ball A at first, which is 5 units. So 12 times 5. So 12 times 5, 60. So again, the table is like a model. You don't need to look at the question. Everything is in the table. Just look at the table to get the answer without having to even look at the question. Okay, last one already. Question 30. Okay, question 30, usually the last question is always a little harder. Okay, Wenrui, copy down already. Wenrui, for this question, copy down already. Okay, let's look at the last question. Now, the last question usually is quite hard, but part A, not really. So how many grams of flour are needed to make 50 pieces of chocolate chips? Okay, you look at the diagram. There are 20 pieces. And how much flour do you need to make 20 pieces of chocolate chip? So why? Why must you look at how much flour? Because the question asks you how many grams of flour. Then you look at the right thing, look at the right info, right? So 20 grams, okay, 20 pieces, you will need 200 grams. So if I want 50 pieces, right, 50, then how many grams? Jumping method. Okay, jump. So how do you jump? Or you can find one piece also can, one piece. Okay, let's find one piece. Okay, one piece will be 200 divided by 20. So how to do that? Divide by 200 divided by 20. Cancel 1 0, cancel 1 0. 20 divided by 2, that'll be 10. So one piece will be 10 grams. Then 50 piece will be 50 times 10. 30 times 10, that will be 500 grams. So how many grams of flour? So that'll be 500 grams of flour. Okay, yep. Then your part B gets maybe a little hard already, right? So based on the recipe, okay, based on the recipe, June made some chocolate chip cookies and she used 350 grams of sugar. How many grams of butter did she use? So it means that you have to compare the sugar with the butter. What is the ratio? Method is ratio. What is the ratio? If she used 350 grams of sugar, then that is also equivalent to how many grams of butter, and ratio method. Okay, ratio method. So how do you do that? Okay, now then you look at sugar and butter. Sugar, where's the sugar? Here. Where's the butter? Here. Okay, and write ratio. Use a ratio to compare them. So how to do that? Let's label sugar is to butter. Sugar is 100 grams and butter is 150 grams. Okay, that's the ratio. And then get the simplest form. Always get simplest form whenever there's a ratio. So divide by 50. All right, divide by 50. 150 divided by 50. Your ratio is 2:3, right? Okay, and if you use 350 grams of sugar, right, 350 grams of sugar, that will be how many grams of butter? Then what do? Then you will have to do this. Find the missing number here, right? You take 350 divided by 2, right? Do your working, and you will get 175. So you have to multiply by 175, okay? Multiply by 175. And then the other side, you also multiply by 175. Agree? So 175 times 3, then you do your working. And okay, let me use my calculator so we can do a bit faster. So 175 times 3, that'll be 525 grams of butter. So if you use 350 grams of sugar, that is equivalent to how many grams of butter? That is equivalent to 525 grams of butter ratio. Using ratio to compare, right? Compare. Okay, easy? Any question? Okay, so we are done. Okay, we are done with this paper already. All right, so anyone has a question that you want to ask me, you can step out of the lesson. Okay, yeah, so, okay. Then if you have no questions, then we're going to continue with our next lesson on Monday. All right, and it might get a bit harder, right? The paper might get a bit harder. But what do? But you should not, make sure you don't make the same mistakes. Okay, whatever you learn, and if the questions are similar, you should not make the same mistakes if you have understood and revised. Okay, means you should be doing better and better in your paper 1. All right, yeah, Jordan, question, Jordan?
I haven't finished the correction for question 25.
Question 25. Okay, you stay back later, right? Daddy will let you copy later. Okay, anyone has a question, you can stay back. If not, I will see you on the next Monday. Okay, all right, so goodbye everyone. See you next Monday. All right, have a good rest. All right, see you. And those who need to stay back, you can stay back. Yeah, bye. And okay, Jordan will stay back later to copy down. And Caleb, okay, you have questions, right? Caleb, Jared, question. Aiden, you have any question, Aiden?
I just want to see that.
You just want to stay back. Okay, all right. Okay, Jordan, what's your question 25, right? Question 25. Question 25. Okay, all right, Caleb, question?
Oh, sorry, I was just tabulating them.
Oh, okay, okay. So do you get at least 30, right? At least try to get at least 30. 30 is your
30, I think 37.
Oh, that's very good. Okay, 37. Okay.
37.5.
Yeah, you should be doing better and better, right? If you have done your work diligently and you have revised, you learn from the mistakes, your marks should be going higher and higher. Because paper 1, the questions are most of them are quite, they are quite similar, most of them, right? Nothing very different. Maybe a few of them are very different, but most of the questions are quite repeated, quite the same. Okay, all right. Okay, so Caleb, no more question already. All right, Jordan, no more question already.
Okay, bye.
Okay, I'll see you on the next Monday. All right, so goodbye, everybody. See you next Monday. Okay, right, Jordan, no question already, right? Okay, goodbye. Okay, see you later. Bye-bye.